Welcome to Diplomatic Channel. I am Amarachi Ubani. The world lost a rare gem as South Africa's anti-apartheid activist and mother of the nation, Winnie Mandela, passed on. The 81-year-old was known across the country as the one who stood for freedom and equality of South Africans and gave more voice to Nelson Mandela's cause for freedom while he was in prison. A few controversies here and there may have threatened to ruin her image and her work, but Winnie, like her name, Nomzamo, which means she will go through trials, went through them, staying true to her cause. Her life, her work, her personality, celebrated over the years, is celebrated even more in her death.
A sad occasion, but rather than wear long faces in mourning, the Women's League of the ruling African National Congress Party dance and sing and lay flowers outside the home of the woman many knew as the mother of the nation in celebration of her life. Born on September the 26th, 1936, the late Winnie Madikizela Mandela, who was an anti-apartheid activist and politician and ex-wife to the late Nelson Mandela. She held many political positions in the country, including serving in the Rural African National Congress and heading the Women's League. After Mandela was imprisoned following the Rivonia trial in 1963, she became his public face during the 27 years he spent in jail, rising to prominence within the domestic anti-apartheid movement. She was detained by apartheid state security services on various occasions, tortured, subjected to banning orders, banished to a rural town, and spent several months in solitary confinement. But her legacy as an anti-apartheid heroine was undone when she was revealed to be a ruthless ideologue prepared to sacrifice laws and lives in pursuit of revolution and redress. Blamed for the killing of activist Chompie Saipe, who was found near her Soweto home with his throat cut, she was convicted in 1991 of kidnapping and assaulting the 14-year-old because he was suspected of being an informer. Her 6-year jail term was reduced on appeal to a fine. In 2003, she was convicted on 43 counts of fraud and 25 of theft. The charges related to money taken from loan applicants' accounts for a funeral fund, but from which the applicants did not benefit. She was sentenced to 5 years in prison. Shortly after the conviction, she resigned from all leadership positions in the ANC, including her parliamentary seat and the presidency of the ANC Women's League. As the years passed and Winnie Mandela's public standing plummeted, her relationship with the party soured. Many thought of her as a troublemaker, arriving late at rallies and haranguing comrades, including Thabo Mbeki, Mandela's successor as president. Years later, she clashed with Jacob Zuma, becoming a political patron of renegade ANC youth leader Julius Malema, who quit the century-old movement to found his own ultra-leftist political party. She was married only a few years to Nelson Mandela, before the marriage was torn apart when he was arrested and sentenced to life in prison. She later said she was married to the ANC, describing it as the best marriage she ever had. She once told a London newspaper, "Mandela did go to prison, and he went in there as a burning youth revolutionary. But look what came out. Mandela let us down. He agreed to a bad deal for the blacks." As her death was announced last week, the whole country mourned and extolled her virtues. President Cyril Ramaphosa said of her death, "A gigantic tree has fallen." He paid his tribute after visiting her family home in Soweto, which became the gathering point for people mourning the combative anti-apartheid campaigner.
Winnie Mandela lastly leaves a huge legacy. And as we say in African culture, a gigantic tree has fallen.
Former President Jacob Zuma praised her bravery.
Her bravery to face the enemy was something beyond understanding as a woman.
Earlier this year, Winnie was in and out of hospital, being treated for an undisclosed illness. She'll be given a state burial to be announced at a later date.